learners, I Dr. Rashmi Agarwal, Department of Electrical Engineering, JC Bose University YMCA welcomes you to MOOC on Principles of Electrical Sciences. This is a second part of module single phase induction motor. This module includes behavior of single phase induction motor, starting methods of single phase induction motor, resistance split phase induction motor, capacitor start and run motor and shaded mode. All these motors are explained with their phasor diagram, torque speed characteristics and their applications. Now, we are going to start with your single phase induction motor. We have already discussed that single phase induction motor is called a single phase because it is working on a single phase supply. And induction word is there because the current is induced in it, induced in a varying magnetic field. So, these motors are used extensively in various applications from basic domestic appliances to heavy industries. The machine has so many applications that are hard to count, and you can imagine the scale by knowing that almost 30% of electrical power generated globally gets consumed by the induction motor itself. The induction motor, we have already discussed that they are not self-starting. Why? The starting torque is 0 because of pulsating single phase magnetic flux. So, to produce the starting torque of a motor, it requires the generation of a rotating flux similar to the rotating flux in a 3-phase winding. In order to start the motor, we introduce an auxiliary winding which is in the stator in addition to the main winding. Now, both the windings have a current 90° out of the phase in order to generate the necessary rotating magnetic field to start the motor. That is why single phase motors are built with a 2-phase winding. This we have discussed in our last lecture also. Now, how do we get the phase shift? Now, this phase shift can be achieved by connecting either a resistance or a capacitance in a series of starting windings. Now, that means we are splitting the phase, we are splitting the main winding into main winding and your auxiliary winding. Now, the principle of split phase method is to create a condition similar to a 2-phase stator winding which carries 2-phase currents at the time of starting in order to produce a rotating magnetic field. Therefore, we can classify on the basis of your split phase method the 5 types of motor. First one is your resistance split phase induction motor, second one is capacitor start motor, third one is a capacitor start run motor, fourth one is permanent split capacitor motor and last one is your shaded pole motors. Now, we are going to start with our first motor, that is your resistance split phase induction motor. The split phase motor is provided with an auxiliary stator winding called the starting winding in addition to the main winding. Now, these windings are placed in the stator slots. Both the windings are put in parallel. You can have a look over the figure that both the windings are in quadrature, but they are parallel to the single phase supply. Now, the main winding is made to occupy the 2/3 of a stator slots having a low resistance and high inductance, and that is why it carries the main winding current Im to establish a needed flux at the rated speed, while the auxiliary winding is made to occupy 1/3 of the stator slots. Now, this winding is having a high resistance and low inductance and it carries the auxiliary winding current Ia. Just you can have a look that we have attached a resistor in series with the auxiliary winding to make it more resistive, and your main winding, because it is produced the main flux, it is inductive in nature. Now we have connected one centrifugal switch also in series with your starting winding, so that it can be de-energized after the motor starts running. Now this can be easily defined by the phasor diagram. You should all know how to draw a phasor diagram. Now we are getting a single phase supply. So first we will draw on a horizontal axis V. Now the current which is flowing in your main winding is more inductive in nature. So it will lag the horizontal V axis by an angle, here we have assumed it by 60 degree. Now the auxiliary winding is more resistive in nature, that is why it will lag by some low angle. So whenever we are drawing a phasor diagram, first we will see the supply and then we will draw the currents, and your effect of the total both the currents will be your IL, which is your sum of your algebraic sum of your IM and IA. Okay. Now when you have got a load current, that means torque is also produced, and this torque is equal to the product of both the currents and angle between them. Now here both the currents are IA and IM, and angle is theta, which is equal to 60 degree here. So torque is equal to K IM IA sin theta. As a result of this torque, the rotor starts rotating and picks up a speed. Now a centrifugal switch which is normally closed is incorporated in series with the starting winding. So when the motor reaches a speed which is about 75% of a synchronous speed, the switch is opened automatically with the help of centrifugal force, and it puts starting winding out of the circuit. Now once we are able to understand the phasor diagram, we can have a view on the torque speed characteristics. The torque speed characteristic differs from the other one in the, here we can have a view that starting torque without the auxiliary winding is 0, and the moment you have a main and auxiliary winding, you will get a torque which is approximately twice the full load torque. But the drawback is that you have got a starting current which is 6 to 8 times the rated current. It's generally we say that the motor is a constant speed motor. So the speed falls with the increase in load by only about 5 to 7%. Otherwise, it is a constant speed motor. Now we have seen that as the starting torque is not high and it has got a high starting current. So it is used for a smaller size motor only, because if we want a good motor, it should have a high full load torque and low starting current. Please note these 2 points, that it should have a high full load torque at low starting current, and this motor is having a full load current and a high starting current. So they are used in smaller size, like in washing machines, fans, where there is a requirement of a low starting torque applications, and also like blower, small lathe machines, and some small equipments used in offices. If we want to now, suppose we want to reverse the direction of a rotation, these motors, the direction of a rotation of a single phase induction motor can be changed by reversing the connection of either the starting winding or the running winding. So by this means resistance split phase motor can start by itself, but it has got a high starting current and low full load torque. So how can we remove this disparity? The main problem with this motor was a low starting torque in the motor, and this torque is a function of a phase difference between the two currents in the two windings. So that time our point strikes that if we have got a good phase difference, we can have a good full load torque, we can have a high starting torque. So, to get a high starting torque, the phase difference required is high. This can be achieved by having a capacitor in series with the auxiliary winding, which results in additional torque, but it will increase the starting torque. Now, that means instead of resistance, we can add a capacitor. So, this capacitor start motor can be further classified into capacitor start motor, capacitor start and run motor. Now, we will understand both the motors with their phasor diagrams and with their speed torque characteristics. First motor is shown is a capacitor start motor. You can just find out that both the windings are in quadrature and they both are in the parallel to the single phase supply. Now, main winding is highly inductive and auxiliary winding is highly capacitive. This is done by attaching a capacitance in series with the starting winding. Now, the starting winding is also provided with a switch, so that auxiliary winding can be de-energized after the starting. This is now once we are able to know the construction of your capacitor start motor, we can draw the phasor diagram. Now, I told you in the previous slide also, first we will draw on a horizontal axis single phase supply V. Now, because your main winding is inductive, so IM, the current flowing in the main winding will lag the voltage supply by some angle. Now, the current in auxiliary winding is capacitive. So, that means by using the capacitor of proper value, the current in auxiliary winding can be made to lead the current in main winding by approximately 85 degree to 90 degree at standstill. Now, as we all know that the torque at standstill increased due to the increase in phase difference between the two currents. So, now we have increased the phase difference between the two currents and your torque will get increased, but you will have a capacitor which is rated only for a intermittent duty, the cost of which decreases as we are using at the time of starting only and we are disconnecting when the motor starts running. So, this capacitor start motor has got a outstanding feature of high starting torque. When it has got a high starting torque, we can use in refrigeration, air conditioning equipments, conveyors, compressors, machine tool drives. So, we can now draw, we are in a position to draw the speed torque characteristic. Again, we will have a view that your starting torque without the auxiliary winding is 0. Second point is speed is almost constant. These are the two common points, but this type of motors develop a high starting torque of about 4 to 5 times the full load torque, and it draws the low starting current which is proved below. Now, we all know that whenever there is a capacitor in a circuit, it has got a high starting current. So, when there is a resistor in a circuit, the current flowing is represented by IA resistive, and when the current flowing in a capacitor motor, it is represented by IA capacitor. Now, we know that the torque is same in both the motors. So, we can say that product of the current flowing in windings in resistor split motor is equal to the product of a current flowing in windings in capacitor start motor. So, we can say that IA resistive into IM resistive is equal to the current flowing in auxiliary winding in capacitor motor and current flowing in main winding in capacitive motor. Now, in the previous phasor diagram, we have shown that theta was 60 degree. The phase difference between the two current was around 60 degree, and we have used in capacitor start motor a capacitance in order to increase the phase difference to 90 degree. Just substitute both the values 60 degree and 90 degree, and we are able to find out the current which is flowing in starting current which is flowing in a capacitive start motor is half of the current which is flowing in resistive start motor. That means starting motor is now your low. So, high starting current can increase the temperature of a machine, which damages the insulation of a machine, and it reduces the life of the machine. That is why this is a very positive point of this motor, that it has got a high full load torque and low starting current. When there is a capacitor in a start motor and there is a capacitor during the running also, it is defined by capacitor start and capacitor run motor. The motor has two capacitors in the auxiliary winding and in the main winding. The one which is in the this motor has two capacitors in the auxiliary winding. Both the capacitors are represented by CS and CR, and they are in the circuit during the starting. After the motor has picked up the speed, the centrifugal switch opens and it disconnects the capacitor CS. Now, this capacitor is a short duty cycle because it is for a small time only, but auxiliary winding and capacitor in auxiliary winding which is running is of a long duty cycle because it remains in the circuit during the running condition also. So, we have got a two capacitor, one at the time of starting and one at the time of running, but at the time of starting both the capacitors are there, that is both CS and CR. Now, again we can draw the phase diagram. When both the capacitors are there, then what will happen? Your phase difference will increase too much. So, phase difference between the two current is greater than 90 degree in the first case when the motor is starting, while it is equal to 90 degree for the second case when it is running. So, it can be easily shown by the phasor diagrams, that your first phasor diagram shows the phase difference greater than 90 degree and second phasor diagram shows it is equal to 90 degree. Now, in the second case the motor is balanced two phase one, that because the two windings are having same number of turns. So, only the forward rotating field is present and there is no backward rotating field. The efficiency of this motor will increase now, and under this condition it is very high. So, we are improving the performance of our motor both at the time of starting and both at the time of running. So, generally these type of motors are used in compressors, refrigerators, etc. We can draw again the same characteristics. Now, just please have a view over the torque speed characteristic. When the motor is going to start, then also we have got a capacitor, and when the motor is running, then there is one capacitor also. So, we can have a characteristic when both the main and auxiliary windings are there, and then we have a characteristic when there is a run capacitor only. The speed torque characteristic now differs from other in a way that now the motor operates as a two phase motor, giving the best performance and a noiseless operation. Starting torque is high, starting current is low, and it gives better efficiency and high power factor. Yes, there is one disadvantage, that is its high cost. In the application now, permanent split capacitor motor, word itself defines which type of motor it is, means there is a permanent insertion of the capacitor. So, there is no need of any centrifugal switch. Same capacitor is used for starting and running. So, capacitor is permanently. Now, this will avoid your expenses of centrifugal switch. Since the capacitor is small, the current in auxiliary winding circuit during the starting torque is small and starting torque is also low in comparison to your capacitor start and capacitor run motor. So, if we draw a speed torque characteristic, we can have a view that it has got a low full load torque, low starting torque, low full load torque, and this motor is used where there is a requirement of a low full load torque. Last motor we have come is your shaded pole motors. For small output requirements not exceeding 1 by 25 horsepower, shaded pole motor is largely used. It is reliable in operation and simple in construction. Now, these motors do not have any auxiliary winding, but then how we are going to create a two phase? A small portion of each pole is covered with a short circuit single turn copper coil called the shading coil. Here shaded pole arrangement is used to create the rotating magnetic field. So, when the supply is connected to the windings of the stator, the alternating flux induced in the core of the rotor. The small portion of a flux links with the shaded coil of the motor because it is short circuited. Then as a result, induced current flows in the shading coil, producing their own flux in a shaded portion of a pole. The variation in the flux induces the voltage inside the ring, which induces the circulating current. Now, this circulating current develops the flux in the ring, which opposes the main flux of the motor. The flux induced in the shaded portion of a motor and the unshaded portion of a motor now will have a phase difference. Now, the main motor flux and the shaded ring flux are also having a space displacement of an angle 90 degree. So, when there is a time and space displacement between the two fluxes, a rotating magnetic field is induced in the coil. This rotating magnetic field develops the starting torque in the motor, and the motor will rotate from unshaded portion to the shaded portion of the motor. Now, if you see that these motors, all the motor except the shaded pole motors can be considered as a split phase motor, because this motor is not, the windings are not splitted, but the split is created by the pole only. Now, the speed torque characteristic differs. The starting torque of shaded pole motor is very small, thus it is used where motor is not too required at a full load. Then where can we use? We can use in gramophone motors, radio tuning motors, and since the efficiency is also very low, a large part of current is utilized in supplying the losses. So, they are also used for starting electronic clocks, and sometimes generally in your clocks, electronic clocks, shaded pole motor is there. Now, this is a common speed torque characteristic curve which is showing that if you have got a capacitor start and run motor, it has got a very high starting torque, then followed by capacitor start, followed by split phase, then permanent magnet capacitor motor and permanent capacitor motor and shaded pole motor. So, the lowest one is your, in terms of your efficiency, in terms of your starting torque, in terms of percentage of full load torque is shaded pole motor, and on the top if it is capacitor start and run motor. The figure also shows there is a centrifugal switch which is operating when your speed reaches around 75% to 80% of your synchronous speed. Now, no machine can be completed without doing any numerical. So, we are taking a small numerical just to have a clear view of what we have studied in our modules. The question is that a 115 volt 60 hertz 4 pole single phase induction motor is rotating in a clockwise direction at a speed of 1710 rpm. We have to calculate its per unit speed slip in the direction of rotation and in the opposite direction. Now, because it is an induction motor, first step is to calculate the synchronous speed, and you all know what is the formula of synchronous. It is equal to 120 into frequency divided by number of poles. So, frequency given here is 60 hertz and number of poles is 4. So, it comes out to be 1800 rpm, but your speed at which your motor is running, it is 1710 rpm. So, what will be the slip when it is rotating in a forward direction? That means it is rotating with a n speed, that is positive one. So, slip formula, just to substitute the values in the slip formula, synchronous speed minus your speed of the rotor divided by your synchronous speed, and it comes out to be 5%. But when we substitute in a backward direction, then your motor is rotating with a negative speed. So, when we substitute in a slip formula, your n will be substituted by minus n, and your result comes out to be 195%, that is equal to 1.95 per unit. I hope this numerical is clear to you. So, in this module of single phase induction motor, it is shown that no starting torque is produced in a single phase induction motor which is provided with only one stator winding. Why? Because the flux produced is a pulsating one with the windings being fed from a single phase supply. Now, using double revolving field theory, the torque speed characteristics of this type of motors are described, and it is shown that if the motor is initially given some rotation in either direction, the motor accelerates in that direction and the torque is produced in that direction. We have also studied the various type of single phase induction motor along with the starting method. The two windings which were mainly used were main winding and auxiliary windings. The merits, demerits of each type along with their application area were also presented, and the process of production of starting torque in shaded pole motor was also described in brief. I hope the single phase induction motor is clear to you. Thank you.